call the November 2nd meeting of the Administrative Services Committee to order. Roll call, Carlos. Here. John Collins.
Here.
Michael Vijek.
Here.
John Young.
Here.
Pam Altoff.
Here.
Jim Kearns.
Here.
And Kay Bates is online, but she's not voting. Is that my understanding? Or is she?
No, she's.
Okay.
she's
No, I thought we were told that she wasn't on. Okay, never mind. We'll get her in a second. All right, we have a quorum. Can I have a motion to allow Kay to join the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Seconded by Pam, made by Michael Vijek. All those in favor?
Aye.
Welcome aboard, Kay. That brings us to minutes for approval. Can I have a motion to approve the September 7th and the October 5th minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Made by John Young. Is there a second? John Collins. Any changes or corrections to the minutes? Not seeing anybody's hand up. All those in favor of the approval of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? They're approved. Public comment sheet down there. Is there anybody on it? I don't know.
Nobody's on it.
Nobody's on it. Okay. Did I miss anybody who wants to be on it? I don't see anybody here that is not somebody I'm used to seeing, so I suspect not. Brings me to member comments. Any member comments? I see none, so we'll go right on. New business, there's no presentations. New business, Mr. Vijek, you said you had something.
Yes, I do, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your recognition. With your permission, I'd like to pass out a handout.
Sure.
Thank you so much if you would pass that.
Pass it down. And
Thank you.
get one copy of it.
I'll wait till people get copies of it.
No, I just-
As the committee members can see, I am proposing to the Administrative Services Committee a new standing committee of the McHenry County Board titled the Agricultural Committee. The purpose of the committee is to promote the identity and pride of the agricultural community and to encourage its financial health in farming. As the committee's advised and promote, the committee's new committee's discussion would be under general function. As a committee, it's there to advise and promote resolutions for existing laws and policies and rules and regulations for the county board, act as a bridge for the agriculture community to the county board, and to render expert advice. My rationale is based on information that about 56% of the county's total land area is under farmland. It promotes approximately almost $164 million in agricultural products. What I observed in my observations is that there is a great deal of interest in the farming and agricultural industry. We look at a number of different things. We promote that under our marketing programs. We are looking at that under planning and development programs. Mr. Kearns, a board member of this committee, has talked about the drainage programs that is essential for our farms so that they don't get flooded by new development. And so as such, I provide the committee with other parts of rationale, which of course I am not going to read into the record. But in doing so, what I've noticed on the time that I've been on these committees, I've noticed that many of the areas are now starting to become more of estates, and I'm beginning to ask the question, where is the agricultural committee? I understand that there is it's under planning and development, but there's no formal subcommittee, but I introduced this as a request for a discussion in the future of this committee so that we would be able to sit down and ask the questions. And I believe there's a need for an agricultural committee or at least a subcommittee at the minimum. And so I present this for discussion purposes, Mr. Chairman. On the second page, you'll notice that I have listed sources of information that committee members, if they feel they wish to do that, they could be able to look at those areas. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. As I'm sure everyone that sits on this committee knows, that this is our last meeting of this committee. The next meeting will be a reorganized committee after the election. I will certainly pass it on to whoever's there, if it's not me, and, we can go from there, or they can go from there, depending. And thank you for bringing it forward. Any other new business that anybody wants to bring forward? If not, that takes us to the routine consent agenda. Mr. Collins has asked 7.2 to be removed. Are there any other items that you'd like removed from the consent agenda? Not seeing anybody's hands come up. I would ask for a motion to approve 7.1 and 7.3 through 7.9 by Ms. Altoff, seconded by Mr. Vijay. Roll call, Mr. Vijay.
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Ms. Altoff.
Yes.
Mr. Kearns.
Yes.
Mr. Acosta.
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Ms. Bates.
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. That approves 7.1 through 7.3 and through 7.9. Takes us back to 7.2. Can I have a motion on 7.2? Mr. Acosta, second by Mr. Young. Mr. Collins, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Just a couple quick questions. The 10% payment above the highest paid union member, does that include overtime in the calculation?
No, that's the straight 2080.
Straight
That does not include overtime.
Okay, so it's 2080 times the hourly rate, whatever that number equals, it's 10% above that number.
Plus, there's a stipend that's also in there. So the highest paid union member, plus that leadership stipend, the crew leader stipend, 10% above that.
And then, so does that mean the supervisor's salary could change multiple times in the year depending on how people fall into steps and increases?
There's a possibility that that could happen. We would never take them down.
Okay.
For example, right now, the highest paid person is going to be at $38.50. If he retires, the next highest paid person will be less. We would not reduce the supervisor's salary because of that, but they would always be at least 10% higher than the highest paid union member, which is similar to what we do with the
Okay,
sheriff's department.
so that was my third question, was you're not gonna take someone backwards if someone
No.
leaves or something like that?
No.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Vijay?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question is, why would we have in a later contract a discussion of management pay?
That's not in the contract. It's added into the resolution because it's tied to, the management pay is tied to the union wages, so it's not in the contract.
Thank you.
Management wages are not in the contract.
Thank you. I yield back.
Any other discussion? If not, then we'll go to vote. Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Kearns?
Yes.
Ms. Altoff?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Vijay?
Yes.
Ms. Bates?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. That approves all of the routine consent agenda. I have no old business. Reports, capital plan update? Somebody, anybody?
I don't think Mr. Burrows is
He's
here.
not here yet. Okay, communications.
I think Alicia is here.
Yes, I see her getting up. By the way, folks, we do have an executive session, so you're not getting out that quick.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Alicia.
So I'm going to try to put up the standard handout so you guys can see.
She's gonna break it.
There you go. All right. So, as Chair Guatemala noted, this is your last meeting for at least this session of the County Board for Administrative Services. And I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for being such troopers and supporting the county's social media and sharing and liking and, being our true engaged audience and helping spread the word. It's been great. So, what's been going on in communications this month? All right. So, we are continuing to promote the stories of the Advanced McHenry County program. We were very happy to be present at the groundbreaking of Foglia Center at the McHenry County College. Took some pictures there to assure you spread the news about the good work that Advanced McHenry County is doing to provide equipment for that center. We completed an About Us page that I can show you in just a second. And the communication survey, we had an increase of 425 responses. I'd like to thank Member Altoff for her suggestion and engaging teachers. My contact at District 155 was able to distribute the survey to her colleagues in the entire district of 155, and the ROE was kind enough to request, that the other superintendents do the same, and I happened to be approached by two colleagues, Scott Hartman and Shayla Dangle, who showed me that, oh, this is on District 47's newsletter too. So we happened to get the word out. I also have to say our county administrator's suggestion of putting up the flyers in the bathrooms during election season was a great idea. Because everybody who's come in to vote, man, you visit the bathrooms on your way out and do the survey. So we had over 120 pages worth of responses on this survey, so I'm still trying to weed through all the information and, go through all the numbers on that. A lot of input, and a lot of it very good. So I'll be following up on that more as time goes on. I was also very pleased to see, and since it's still technically open through the end of the day, I don't want to get too far into it, but I was very pleased to see that there were a lot of different zip codes, mostly from McHenry County. So we got a lot of different input from different areas and it wasn't just Crystal Lake or Woodstock. I was seeing Harvard zip codes, McHenry, all over the place. So I was very happy about that. Okay. Some other things to note, we've got some decent engagement going on. LinkedIn, of course, is our strongest platform in terms of engagement. Thank you to all of our influencers that are here in this room. Facebook's engagement is doing well as well. We had a little bit of an issue with Instagram and Twitter this month. Instagram, I don't know if anybody knows this, had an odd, I don't even know what to call it, but followers mysteriously disappeared on Monday. And it was across the nation and then came back by end of business. So I guess they were trying to do something to weed out bots or something like that, and it didn't work out, and whatever. Twitter did experience a loss in followers this session. We did see something similar when it was recently purchased a couple months ago, so I suspect there's some interplay there. So that's why you'll see a decrease in Twitter followings. It literally happened over the past couple days. Some goals that I've got for the next meeting. I want to increase awareness about the About Us pages, and I want to get the volunteer page up and running. I apologize, I haven't gotten that far yet. I also want to try to increase awareness of the McHenry County newsletters. One of the things that I did notice in the survey results, without quantifying anything, so I'll take it with a grain of salt, is that there was more expression of interest in knowing about the newsletters that we do. So I want to try to increase awareness. And to that point, our communication specialist made a great discovery. At the bottom of the newsletters, there's a new feature to share the newsletters on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So if any of you guys have those accounts, please share our newsletters. Please, please, please. It helps get the public more able to see that they exist and follow them. So yeah, that's what I've got so far. As for interdepartmental assistance, we did 3 different press releases for different departments. We assisted county clerk, planning and development, and EMA. We've got another video in progress for another department, and we got another press release that should be coming out this week. So that's what I've got. Any questions?
Thank you. You did a great job for the last 2 years at least. I can't say before or after, and I'm sure you'll do fine in the future, but I know I've enjoyed working with you, so.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All right, well.
Administrator report.
Yeah, I don't have much for you this morning. It's November, so my world in November is always budget and evaluations, and that's really what I've been working on and will be working on in the coming days. I do evaluations for 11 of your appointed officials, and it's really an important time for us to kind of look at what transpired in the year past, and probably even more importantly, set goals for the year ahead. So we're working on that. You may recall year and a half ago or so, we bought new payroll software, and it has an evaluation component in there. So this is the second year we've been using that, and kind of having to re-familiarize myself with the software, but it's taken some time. Kathy's helping me out a lot, my IT specialist here. So anyways, doing a lot of evaluations, and that's important to make sure everybody's in line to get the December 1 wage increases. We have to have all this done, I think, by November 24th or some date around there. So that's taking time. The other issue is the budget. We have a budget on display. It balances, it works. I think it minimally meets our needs, and it's there. Kevin and I have prepared a few different scenarios. If the board makes changes to the budget, we can respond. But I think we're prepared there, and we'll have a little bit more discussion with finance on some of those scenarios tomorrow. That's what I have.
Any questions? Thank you, Peter.
Appreciate you getting this.
HR separation report.
Thank you. So we've had the Chrono system up for a little over a year. So I went in and I looked at what the system could pull out for
Thank you.
July 1 through July of this year. And this is this is data from July to July. The reason that's important is because our wage increases from the comp study took effect in July. So we'll be able to compare the year before wage increase, the comp study, to next year. The report will be after the comp study to see if it made a difference. So what you see is each department is listed there. Generally the number of people that are budgeted for that department. The number of separations from each of the departments is the second column, department name. And then we looked at what percentage of those who separated because of resignations. Again, county clerk, they all were resignations. So some departments, it was all of them, some it was less. What was interesting, the sheriff's department, most of their people left for retirements. So that was kind of interesting that stuck out. We did have some people who passed away in the last year. You see some deceased. So that on the bottom of the page, resignations, because I think that's really the one that we want to study is why did people voluntarily leave? And again, this is where we're hoping that our wage increases will change our numbers for next year. So again, 19.5% left for a new job. I'm not sure if it was a new job that had more money, but they left for a new job. 12% specifically said for money that they left. 8 left for personal reasons. 6% of those who left for were moving. 6%, again, they didn't like the work environment, and they've left some very specific reasons and things that were happening within their work environment. And I have talked to those departments about some of those things, hoping that we can address those concerns. 4.5% said other reasons and wouldn't let us. And then 60 people, we don't know, because either they left before we could meet with them, or they, even though they had left and we sent them the exit interview, they didn't respond. So 60 of those 149, we were unable to get anything from them. So this I wanted to give you as kind of a baseline report. Again, you may not be the people sitting on the committee next year, and I can take them back to this next year, but I wanted to be sure that you got some kind of a baseline report of how many people left, why they left. And then again, we'll repeat this report next year.
Ms. Altough?
Cheryl, do you have anywhere in here, do we have people who left one department and went to another department? Is that?
This was total
Total
separations.
separations?
This was total
Okay.
separations, yeah.
Thank you.
Mr.
There
Collins?
are a handful of those stories.
Mr. Collins?
On the work environment,
Yes.
were those, would you consider those valid reasons that they expressed? Or were they more complaints?
Some of them were repeated, and I've heard them for a while.
Okay.
There's issues that have existed that, in an ideal world, would be addressed, and they're still not addressed. So again, I continue to work with those department heads on trying to address those concerns. Some of them are are real issues.
Okay. You have a plan in place to address those?
Pardon me?
But there's a plan in place to address those real issues?
Yes, again, yes, I meet with the department head and we come up with a plan. I know
Okay.
one department head I met with, we wound up going in and doing some targeted training.
Okay.
They're about ready to do, again, some more targeted training to address issues.
Okay.
Mr. Meacham?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the detailed report. This is helpful for us. Under the reason for resignation, 19.5, new job, when you spoke, or when someone spoke to the people leaving, was it the new job, was it challenges, was it promotion, other than money?
They didn't specify money.
Okay,
It's just, I'm taking a new job.
okay,
I found a new job.
all right. Then under the personnel, personal, would that be under the include insurance?
Nobody complained about insurance. Most of the personal was like, I just had my third child and decided I wanted to stay home. So it was more personal reasons why they just weren't gonna work anymore.
Okay, so basically our insurance program, or can I generalize and say the benefit program, seems to be acceptable, that's not a reason to leave?
No.
Okay,
No.
thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions? Okay, any questions?
No, not at this time.
You're on the committee next year at this time, we'll talk about shifts.
All right, thank you. Future topics, we have one already that we've been given. Any others that we want to leave for the next board? Okay, in that case, we do need to go into an executive session. Besides approving the minutes, we also have to go in for property negotiations. If I can have a motion to do that? By Mr. Young, seconded by Ms. Altoff. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, Kay, we're gonna lose you. again, if anybody's out there, let them in. I don't think there is, but.
You drank a lot of coffee this morning.
Okay, nobody out there? Right, Can we, we're going back into regular session. I know we forgot along the way, we didn't say who was in this room during the executive session. My apologies. We may want to fix, do you need us to fix that? Can you put it on the record who was here? Okay. In that case, the only person we're missing from our roll is Kay Bates, who was online. That brings us to, we need a motion to approve the minutes, but not the release of those minutes for August 3rd, 2022, and September 7th, 2022 executive
I'll
session.
make a motion.
I'll second.
So I have a motion made by John Young, second by Mr. Vijay. All those in favor of approving those minutes but not releasing them at this time, say aye.
Aye.
Any other changes or corrections?
Is that gonna come off?
Yeah, that probably does need to come off the board. Well, that part's a public record anyway, but you're still gonna wonder what we were talking about. So, all right. I have no other matters. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
By Pam, seconded by Mr. Collins. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And good luck to those running, and good luck to those who aren't running, so you don't have to come back.
You want to know about today?
Yeah, you would help me out.